Hey everybody, it's Dave Dugdale, learningdslrvideo.com. I just got back from Breckenridge, Colorado, where I shot a real estate video. One of the things the client wanted me to do is somehow demonstrate how close they were to the ski lift, walking distance, ski in, ski out. It's a very short walk. So instead of showing some B-roll of the actual ski lift and then maybe doing some text like saying ski in, ski out, I remembered Griffin over at Indy Mogul did a really fun video on kind of a travel time lapse. So I went to Google and I typed in travel time lapse and nothing came up. And then I finally found it and it was called Hyper Time Lapse. Not too sure why they called it hyper, but to me it's like as you're traveling and doing a time lapse at the same time. Obviously you could do it on a slider that's pretty short, but let's say you're going to do it over the course of like several hundred yards. Travel time lapse. So I basically did what Griffin did, but I did it a lot faster because I just wanted to see if it would work. So I went out there with my tripod, my Canon 5D Mark III, the Canon 16 to 35, a really wide lens. I'm doing a review on this, by the way. I used it a lot for this real estate shoot. And then I put an ND filter on it, about a quarter of a second shutter, ISO 160, aperture f8. Maybe f10, I can't remember, but it was pretty high. And basically I just moved every 2 feet. I mean, I know in Griffin's video, he did it like every 3 inches, and then I think he tried it every foot. I was like, I knew that the amount of shots I had to do within that maybe 200 yards, I was like, I better move at least every couple of feet before I move the tripod. And I try to keep the lens kind of steady, but I didn't do that great of a job. I was just like, let's just do this really quick to see if it works. So I threw it in to After Effects after I got back. And let me show you the very first one. And as you can see, it's really jumpy and it's all over the place. But I was like, I might be able to work with this. So what I did is I went back to, I tried it again, but this time I changed and added the warp stabilizer. And I did it at 2%, a really low value. And this is what I got. And as you can see, it's much smoother. Not bad at all. So then I was thinking, that's pretty good. Let's try cranking it up. So I moved it all the way to 50%. And then I got some warning message. I can't remember what it was, but it basically said something about the dimensions wasn't going to work. So I backed it down to 35%. And this is what I got. Much smoother. A little bit of distortion going on there. And you can kind of see where I didn't do such a great job at keeping the lens nice and even. So I wanted to try it again. So I woke up early this morning and I went out there with my tripod. And this time I wanted to keep the tripod nice and steady. And as I started going in and I figured out I made a mistake about a few steps in, I was like, let's just go with it and I'll do it anyway. So I actually started off at 35 millimeters and then I kept backing it off to 16 millimeters, about maybe 20 or 30 yards into it. So you're going to see some heavy distortion in the beginning. And this one's going to get cut short because one of the things when you do time lapses is going to want to make sure that your numbering sequence resets back down to 0, because what happened here, I was in the 9,000s, and what happened is when you go past 10,000, as you guys probably know, it reverts the cameras. Usually Canon cameras, pretty much every Canon or any digital camera reverts back down to 0. And what happens is when you bring that into After Effects, it can't see the numbering sequence correctly. And I wouldn't want to go back and rename half of the files to make it work. So here's just half of it, and watch the zoom in the very beginning. You're going to notice some distortion. There's the distortion. So not too bad. I didn't do great on that one, and the lighting was kind of interesting, but actually I kind of like the lighting on the other one better because it has these kind of cool lens flares that are kind of moving around on the screen. Before I tell you what I'm working on next, let me share a testimonial from one of my camera courses on how to shoot video with your DSLR. This one's from Anthony. I just wanted to let you know that your T3i course was awesome. I just bought it yesterday and I watched through most of it in one sitting. It was very easy to watch and understand. It's clear that you put a lot of work into it. So I just want to let you guys know that I've got courses out there and I'm getting some great comments. So pretty much the next thing I'm working on is this review. And I've got a couple of surprises with this. It's very interesting. I'm not going to share them right now, but I actually have another wide lens that's coming in very shortly. It's a Taquina that I'm going to be putting this up against. It's half, or actually less than half the price. So really kind of interested because this one is very expensive. And it's kind of a specialty lens, and it's something I don't use that much, but this real estate video I did, I really used it a lot. And in this real estate video, I did a lot of raw video with Magic Lantern, and I'll be kind of showing some of that stuff later. That's pretty much it. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.